I'm Sharon Scott with Resort Trades Learning Channel. Have you ever wondered what's so special about timeshare software versus standard off-the-shelf hospitality software? What's the difference? So we are delighted today to have Gordon McClendon of SPI Software with us. Welcome, Gordon.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
You're welcome. Now, you may have noticed an article in the November 2021 issue of Resort Trades. It's entitled SPI Salutes Powerful Partnership with Grand Pacific Resorts. And the article announced a new service that Grand Pacific Resorts recently launched called Vacation Services. And with SPI's technology support, the program essentially allows GPR managed resorts to provide services on a white label basis. So it's very impressive, Gordon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, today our topic is something that developers and managers have been grappling with ever since timeshare started 40 years ago, maybe a little more. So what does a timeshare resort software system do that a hotel software can't handle? And it's basically the reason Carl Lang originally started SPI in the first place. I remember him discussing it, how he tried to put together a package for a timeshare resort developed out of a hospitality system, and he just had to start from scratch, basically. So even though Carl, God bless him, passed in 2019, the SPI software is still going strong. So they are still using that same strong structure that Carl started 40 years ago. So, Gordon, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what this difference is?
Thank you. First of all, Sharon, I want to say that the Resort Trades learning seminars are very informative, and thank you for doing them. And I'm honored to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're honored to have you.
Thank you very much. I'll get right into it. And I'll start by talking about the similarities. The similarities between a hotel system and a resort system are pretty comprehensive. And the first one is obviously the front desk. Every hotel system and every timeshare resort system must have a front desk to greet the guest or owner when they come in. In greeting them, it's typically called the check-in. Everybody has experienced a check-in when they go to a hotel. The resort system is no different. You check in. You are given you're giving a room. You're assigned a room. You're assigned a key system. If a resort's timeshare system has a hotel, or has a restaurant or some other means of a non-room associated charge, they must have a point of sale. Hotel systems and resort systems have the same thing. They have a point of sale system. There must be, and from that point of sale becomes, there's something called folio management, because that point of sale then goes right to the folio that the guest or the owner is responsible for at checkout. The second part is and there has to be something called a guest folio. Guest folios, are a person who is responsible for their brother and sister, but they're paying. That's called a guest folio. The guest folio is the person that checks in, but he's not responsible for paying, but it must go to a master folio. Both systems have that. Housekeeping management, both systems have. The hotel system housekeeping tends to be a lot more robust because they keep track of hotels keep track of how long a maid's been in the room, and they keep track of inventory. Inventory being how many towels and so on. Um, Timeshare systems, in terms of the software, it doesn't do that. Is not as robust, nor does it need to be. But again, both systems have a key system, and of course, both systems have to have a means of credit card processing, and as well as confirmation letters. Confirmation letters are have morphed into confirmation texts or confirmation or an email. But when a guest or a owner calls and makes a reservation, they need to have it confirmed. And finally, there's something called channel management. Channel management is the hotels.com or bookings.com. Both systems will assign a certain amount of inventory to the channel manager who will sell the rooms for them. And that allotment, comes back into the system. Both hotel systems and timeshare systems operate in exactly the same way in terms of the channel management. Now, let me talk about the differences. One chief difference with hotel and resort management is hotel systems have something called yield management. Yield management is the result of the demand on a hotel. That if I'm 90% sold out and I was previously selling a room for $100 a night, but then I see that I'm going to be selling I can sell the rest of these rooms at $125 a night because I have high demand, then I'm going to raise my rates. Now it doesn't mean that resort software can't raise rates. They certainly can, but in terms of structuring that from a linear algebra standpoint, that yield management functionality is really the provenance of a hotel management system. And typically what resort management software does is we will export information to a third party if yield management is necessary. Typically it's not something that resort management software is looking to do, because owners own at least half of the resort, and as a result, that they can't rearrange the inventory in the same way that a hotel operation can, and therefore yield management once again is kind of yielded to the hotel software. Now, in terms of resort management, some of the chief differences are that every resort management software has to maintain a comprehensive owner contact file system that describes what the owner owns, and who is allowed to use the time that the owner bought, and owner addresses. Where are we going to be sending the bills? Because there's going to be an annual HOA, which I'll talk about in HOA fee, which I'll talk about in a minute. Now, but what the owner owns, when in the resort management software, there's something called fixed, float, which was everybody knew those, and in the last 10 years, they're points. You'll hear about points in a hotel system software, but it's very different. You're given points for in a hotel system for staying. Staying. You may for every 10 stays you might get a night free. And when you hear points in a resort management software, what you're talking about is that's what the owner purchased, and that is an allotment of points they get every year. Typically, it'll equate to a week. It has seasonality to it. The reason why seasons are important is that an owner everybody wants to go to Hawaii in December. Well, the resort can't handle everybody in December, and so therefore the number of not just the number of points, but the cost of the points are going to be higher for Hawaii in December than Hawaii in the summer. So there's a seasonality factor. You won't hear these things in hotel software. Now the other one is maintenance billing and loan servicing. So let me take you to a real chief difference in resort management software. Resort management software must maintain a maintenance billing receivables. The typical in the industry, in October, there'll be bills going out for the HOA fee because a owner of a timeshare resort is responsible for their portion of the homeowners association fee, and they're typically billed in October, and by spring everybody who's going to pay is paid. But that they have to maintain that the resort maintains that receivable system through the resort management software that they purchase. And the reason being is, for example, if an individual is making a reservation who hasn't paid for the HOA fee, they may promise to say, I'll pay, I'll give you that when I check in. If the resort agrees to it, that person at the front desk needs to know that person hasn't paid before they check them in. The second part is the second receivable system is that there may be a loan on the purchase of the timeshare that they have. That is as well as the HOA fee. That's something that's unique to the timeshare resort system, the software system. The other one is the exchange. Exchanges are, let's say I bought, a timeshare in Orlando to go to Disney for the next few years, and after my kids are too old to go to Disney, I still own it. But I may not want to go to Disney, and neither do the kids, after a few years. There are exchange systems, exchange companies like Interval International and RCI are the two big ones, at which time I'm able to exchange the ownership that I have. For example, I use the example of in Orlando to go to a timeshare in Paris or a timeshare in Hawaii. Which I don't own it, but I just did an exchange because maybe a person from Paris or London may want to go to Orlando. The timeshare software systems have to maintain that in their software to account for what the owner did with his time. Did he exchange it, or and the other one is he may have that person may want to rent it out. But in both cases, the software needs to track that. And finally, every timeshare resort is in the business of sales. If I buy a 1-bedroom in a resort, I'm likely going to be pitched to to upgrade to a 2-bedroom. Or if I come in there as a guest, I don't have any ownership, it's for sure that I am going to be given the opportunity of buying in this lovely resort that I just checked into. So it's really important, for example, that the timeshare resort system maintains a sales tracking system that will track the leads from the guest checking in to the sale, and if they become an owner, then that begins that cycle. You will not see that in a hotel system. You will see it in a timeshare system, because whether or not even the sold out resorts are always in sales. There's always there's always something to sell in a resort, and that is among everything, the chief difference is that you have to have a sales system in order to function in a timeshare resort. So with that, as I said, I'll just give you the kind of the summary. The differences are the maintenance billing, the receivable system, the exchange, and the sales. Everything else is pretty similar, So again, with the exception of, as I said, the yield management function, which you're not likely going to see in a timeshare software system, but more importantly, you're not likely to see that as an important factor in a timeshare resort.
Wow, and believe me, Gordon, I am pretty well acquainted with SPI software, because I used to, full disclosure here, used to do y'all's PR work. Absolutely. And marketing.
A very good job you did, Sharon.
Oh, thank you. But it was easy, because it was something to be proud of. I was proud to represent you guys. So thank you very much for spending your time putting this together. I think it'll be interesting and helpful to people who might be researching what to do with regards to their own resort. So I hope so, at any rate. But to our attendees or to our listeners, I'd encourage you to go to our YouTube channel. Please support our channel by being a subscriber. Hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our presentations. We're trying to encourage everybody in the industry who has anything that they would like to share. Contact me, Sharon, at thetrades.com. These are free events. We don't charge you to be a speaker. Please comment, like the space, and share the video with your acquaintances. And thank you for your support.